Captain Hyunwoo pressed his fingers against the cold metal of the navigation console. The blue light from the holographic map made his face look pale in the darkness of the ship's bridge. He had been staring at the same spot for 20 minutes. Now, and his eyes were starting to hurt. The map showed thousands of bright dots floating in empty space. Each dot was a star system. Each system had planets where different alien races lived and worked. Green lines connected the dots like a giant web, showing the safe routes that ships could take through hyperspace. It was beautiful and complex, like looking at the nervous system of some huge creature. But there was something wrong with the map. Something that made Hyunwoo's stomach feel tight with worry. In one corner of the display, the web of green lines just stopped. The bright dots disappeared. There was nothing but empty black space with a single red warning label that said, "Human territory, navigation prohibited." It was like someone had taken scissors and cut a huge hole in the map. "You look like you saw a ghost," said a voice behind him. Hyunwoo turned around. Nari, his co-pilot, was walking toward him with 2 cups of hot coffee. Her dark hair was tied back in a simple ponytail, and she looked tired. They had been flying for 16 hours straight, carrying medical supplies to the outer colonies. "Thanks," Hyunwoo said, taking the coffee. The warm cup felt good in his hands. "I was just looking at this." He pointed at the empty space on the map. Nari looked at it and made a small sound with her tongue. "Ah, the dead zone," she said. "First time seeing it?" "Dead zone?" Hyunwoo asked. "Is that what pilots call it?" Nari sat down in the chair next to him. She took a sip of her coffee and nodded. "Every pilot in the galaxy knows about it. We all have the same rule. Don't go there. Ever." Hyunwoo frowned. "But why? The humans only joined the Galactic Council 50 years ago. They seemed friendly enough during the first contact meetings. I saw the videos in flight school. They were excited to meet other races. They wanted to trade and learn about our cultures." "That was 50 years ago," Nari said. Her voice was quiet, like she was telling a secret. "Things changed." "What do you mean, things changed?" Nari looked around the bridge, even though they were the only 2 people there. "You really don't know the stories?" Hyunwoo shook his head. "I just finished flight school 6 months ago. They taught us about navigation, ship repair, and emergency procedures. Nobody ever talked about humans except to say we should avoid their space." Nari was quiet for a moment. She stared at the red warning on the map. "My first captain told me something when I was young like you. He said that space has 3 rules. First rule, always check your oxygen levels. Second rule, never trust a Krillian traitor. Third rule, never, ever go into human space unless they invite you." "That's not a real rule," Hyunwoo said. "That's just superstition." "Is it?" Nari asked. She turned to look at him. Her eyes were serious. "Do you know how many ships have entered human space without permission in the last 50 years? Hyunwoo thought about it. "I don't know. A few dozen? Maybe 100. "Try thousands," Nari said. "Pirates looking for easy targets, explorers trying to map new systems, merchants hoping to find new trade routes, scientists wanting to study human technology, even military scouts from different governments." "Okay, so thousands of ships went into human space. What happened to them?" Nari took another sip of coffee. "That's the problem. Nobody knows. They just disappeared. No distress signals. No wreckage found. No survivors. Nothing. It's like they flew into a black hole and vanished forever." Hyunwoo felt a chill run down his back. "All of them?" "Every single one," Nari said. "At first, people thought it was just bad luck. Space is dangerous. Ships break down. Accidents happen. But after the first few dozen ships disappeared, patterns started to show up. Every ship that entered human space without permission was gone within 24 hours. Maybe the humans are just very good at defending themselves," Hyunwoo suggested. "Maybe they destroy ships that come too close." "Maybe," Nari said. "But here's the strange part. The humans never send messages. They never demand that ships turn around. They never threaten anyone. Ships just stop existing." Hyunwoo looked back at the map. The empty space seemed bigger now, like it was growing while he watched. What do the humans say when people ask them about it? They say that their space is closed for security reasons, Nari replied. They say that any ship entering without permission will be treated as a hostile threat. They're very polite about it, very formal, but they never explain what happens to the ships that don't listen. And the Galactic Council just accepts this? Nari laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. The Council tried to investigate once. 7 years ago, they sent an official diplomatic mission to ask questions. 3 ships with ambassadors from 12 different races. They had full Council protection and proper documentation. What happened? The same thing that always happens. They disappeared. The Council sent a formal complaint to the human government. The humans sent back a very polite letter saying they were sorry for any misunderstanding, but no Council ships had been detected in their space. Hyunwoo felt his coffee getting cold in his hands. That's impossible. Ships that big can't just vanish. Tell that to the families of the missing diplomats, Nari said. After that, the Council made a new rule. Human space was officially off limits to all galactic traffic. No investigations, no rescue missions, no exceptions. But that's crazy, Hyunwoo said. We're talking about hundreds of star systems, thousands of planets. There could be amazing things there. New technologies, new resources, new worlds to explore. Maybe, Nari said. But ask yourself this question. Is your curiosity worth more than your life? Hyunwoo didn't answer. He stared at the map again, trying to understand what he was seeing. The human territory wasn't just empty space on a map. It was a mystery that had swallowed thousands of ships and tens of thousands of people. It was a place where the normal rules of space travel didn't seem to work. I heard a story once, Nari said quietly, from an old cargo pilot named Jin Ho. He claimed he saw something strange at the edge of human space. What did he see? Ships, Nari said. Lots of ships. Just floating there in the darkness, not moving, not sending signals. He said they looked like ships from every race in the galaxy. Krillian cruisers, Vorthan raiders, even some old Earth-built vessels from before humans joined the Council. Ghost ships? That's what Jin Ho called them. He said they were arranged in perfect formation, like they were guarding something. He tried to get closer to investigate, but his navigation computer started showing error messages. His engines began making strange sounds. So he turned around and flew away as fast as he could. Do you believe him? Nari shrugged. Jinho was known for telling tall tales, but he was also one of the best pilots in the merchant fleet. He flew cargo runs for 40 years without a single accident. If he said he saw something, maybe he really did. Hyunwoo looked at his reflection in the black surface of the navigation console. His face looked worried and confused. He had become a pilot because he loved the freedom of space travel. He loved seeing new worlds and meeting new people. But now he was learning that there were places in the galaxy where freedom ended and fear began. Why don't they teach this stuff in flight school? He asked. Because it would scare away half. The students, Nari said. The galaxy needs pilots. We carry food to hungry colonies. We transport medicine to sick people. We move families to new homes and bring news to isolated worlds. If everyone knew how dangerous space really was, nobody would want to do this job. But don't we have a right to know? Sure, Nari said. And now you do know. The question is, what are you going to do with that knowledge? Hyunwoo looked at the red warning on the map one more time. Then he reached over and turned off the navigation display. The holographic map disappeared, leaving the bridge in darkness except for the soft glow of the ship's control panels. I'm going to do my job, he said. I'm going to fly my ship and deliver my cargo and keep my mouth shut about things I don't understand. Smart choice, Nari said. She stood up and stretched. But remember this conversation, Hyunwoo. Remember it every time you look at a star map. The galaxy is bigger and stranger than they taught you in school. And some mysteries are better left unsolved. As Nari walked away to check the ship's systems, Hyunwoo sat alone in the darkness. Outside the bridge windows, millions of stars sparkled in the endless night. Each star was a sun, warming planets where people lived and worked and dreamed. But somewhere out there, in a corner of space that didn't exist on any map, something was waiting in the darkness, something that made the bravest pilots in the galaxy whisper warnings to each other in the safety of their ships. Something human. 3 days later, Hyunwoo was trying to forget about the conversation with Nari. They were flying through empty space on their way to deliver medical supplies to a mining colony. The ship's computers showed nothing but stars and space dust for light years in every direction. It should have been a boring, peaceful trip. Then the emergency beacon started screaming. Hyun-woo jumped in his seat as red lights flashed all over the bridge. The computer's voice spoke in calm, mechanical words. Distress signal detected. Origin, 3.7 kilometers to port. Signal strength, weak. Estimated time to signal failure, 47 minutes. Where's it coming from? Nari asked, running onto the bridge. She had been sleeping in her cabin when the alarm started. Hyun-woo checked the sensor readings. It's a ship. Looks like a small cargo vessel. The signal is getting weaker. What type of ship? The computer says it's Vorthon design. Probably a raider or pirate vessel. Nari made a disgusted sound. Pirates. Let them rot. Change course and keep flying. I can't do that, Hyun-woo said. Galactic law says we have to help any ship in distress. Galactic law also says pirates should be shot on sight, Nari replied. Besides, it could be a trap. Pirates sometimes send fake distress signals to lure cargo ships close enough to rob them. Hyun-woo looked at the sensor display. The signal was definitely getting weaker. If there were people on that ship, they would be dead soon. I'm changing course, he said. This is a mistake, Nari warned. I've got a bad feeling about this. Your bad feelings don't override my duty as a ship captain, Hyun-woo said. He pressed buttons on the navigation console, and their ship turned toward the distress signal. 20 minutes later, they found the source of the signal. It was indeed a Vorthon raider ship, but it looked terrible. The hull was cracked in several places. One of the engine pods was completely missing. The other engine was dark and cold. The ship was spinning slowly in space like a broken toy. Life. Signs? Hyun-woo asked. Nari checked the sensors. 6 people still alive, but barely. Their life support system is failing. They have maybe an hour of air left. Prepare the docking bay. I'm bringing them aboard. Hyun-woo, these are pirates. They'll try to kill us the moment they wake up. Then we'll have to make sure they don't try anything stupid, Hyun-woo said. Get the stun weapons from the security locker. It took 30 minutes to carefully move the 6 survivors from their dying ship to the medical bay. They were all unconscious from lack of oxygen. 5 of them were typical Vorthons, tall, gray-skinned, with long arms and sharp teeth. But their leader was different. He had scars all over his face and arms, and one of his eyes was missing. His remaining eye was bright red, like a drop of blood. When the scarred Vorthon woke up 3 hours later, the first thing he did was try to grab Hyun-woo's throat. Fortunately, Hyun-woo was ready for this. He stepped back and pointed a stun weapon at the pirate's chest. Stay calm, Hyun-woo said. You're safe now. We rescued you from your ship. The Vorthon looked around the medical bay with his one good eye. He saw his crew members lying on medical beds, breathing steadily. He saw Nari standing by the door with another stun weapon. Slowly, he relaxed. You saved us, he said. His voice was rough and deep. Why? Because it was the right thing to do, Hyun-woo replied. The Vorthon laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. Right thing to do? Do you know who I am, human friend? I am Kethvar the Bloodthirsty. I have robbed more cargo ships than you have seen in your lifetime. I have killed crews and sold their cargo on black markets. Why would you save someone like me? Because even pirates deserve a chance to live, Hyun-woo said. Kethvar stared at him for a long moment. Then he nodded slowly. You are either very brave or very stupid. Maybe both. But I owe you my life now. That means something to my people. I don't want anything from you, Hyun-woo said. Just tell me what happened to your ship. Kethvar's face changed. The confident smile disappeared. His red eye showed something that Hyun-woo had never expected to see in a pirate. Fear. We were running, Kethvar said quietly. Running from a Confederation patrol ship. They caught us robbing a merchant convoy near the Spiral Arm. We fought them, but their ship was too strong. So we decided to run and hide. Hide where? In the dead zone, Kethvar said. We thought we could lose the patrol ship in human space. Pirates have been using that trick for years. Fly toward the human border, then turn around at the last second. The patrol ships never follow because they're too scared. Nari moved closer. But you actually went into human space? Yes, Kethvar said. We were desperate. The patrol ship was gaining on us. We crossed the border and flew deep into human territory. "What did you see?" Hyun-woo asked. Kethvar closed his eye and was quiet for a moment. When he opened it again, his hands were shaking. "Ships," he said. "Thousands and thousands of ships, all hanging in space like they were waiting for something. They weren't moving. They weren't sending signals. They were just there." "What kind of ships?" "Every kind," Kethvar said. "Pirate ships like mine, merchant vessels, military cruisers, even some old exploration ships from the early days of galactic travel. It was like a museum of every ship that had ever disappeared in human space." "Were they damaged?" Nari asked. "No," Kethvar said. "That's what made it so scary. They all looked perfect, clean and undamaged like they had just been built, but there were no life signs from any of them." Hyun-woo felt his mouth getting dry. "What happened next?" "We tried to turn around and leave," Kethvar said. "But something followed us. We never saw it clearly. It stayed just outside our sensor range, but we could feel it watching us." "Watching you?" "Yes. It was like being hunted by a predator that was smarter than you. Every time we changed course, it changed course too. Every time we tried to go faster, it matched our speed exactly." "Did it attack you?" "Not exactly," Kethvar said. "It did something to our ship, something that made our engines stop working. Our hyperdrive shut down, our weapons went dead, but it didn't destroy us. It just disabled us. Then it left us there and flew away." "Left you where?" "Just outside human space, like it was sending a message." "What kind of message?" Kethvar looked directly at Hyun-woo. "Stay out. That was the message. Don't come back. Don't try to enter human space again. We were allowed to live, but only as a warning to others." "You think the humans wanted you to survive so you could tell other pirates what you saw?" "I think the humans wanted everyone to know what happens when you cross their border," Kethvar said. "They could have killed us easily. Instead, they broke our ship and sent us away. Now I'm telling you the story, and you'll tell someone else. And they'll tell someone else. The fear spreads." Nari sat down in a chair near the medical bed. "That's a pretty smart strategy. Kill some intruders, but let others escape to spread the word." "It's more than smart," Kethvar said. "It's perfect. Every pirate in the galaxy knows my name. When they hear that Kethvar the Bloodthirsty was scared enough to run away from human space, they'll believe it. They'll stay away." "But what about all those ships you saw?" Hyun-woo asked. "The thousands of ships just floating there. What happened to their crews?" Kethvar was quiet for a long time. When he finally spoke, his voice was barely a whisper. "I think they're still there," he said. "Still on their ships. Still alive. But not free. The ships were too perfect, too clean. Someone was taking care of them. Someone was keeping them in good condition." "That doesn't make sense," Nari said. "Why would humans keep thousands of prisoners?" "Maybe they're not prisoners," Kethvar said. "Maybe there's something else. Maybe they're working for the humans now." "Working how?" "I don't know, but think about it. Every ship that disappears in human space is crewed by experienced pilots, people who know how to fight, how to navigate, how to repair ships. What if the humans found a way to make all those people work for them?" Hyun-woo felt cold all over. "You're talking about slavery." "I'm talking about something worse than slavery," Kethvar said. "Slaves can rebel, slaves can escape. But what if the humans found a way to make people want to serve them? What if they changed the crews somehow, made them loyal to human interests?" "That's impossible," Nari said. But she didn't sound convinced. "Is it?" Kethvar asked. "Humans have only been in space for a few hundred years, but they already have technology that nobody understands. They live longer than most species. They heal faster from injuries. They learn new skills quicker than anyone else. What if they learned how to change other people too?" "You're scaring yourself with ghost stories," Hyun-woo said. "There has to be a logical explanation." "Maybe," Kethvar said, "but I'll never try to find out. I'm done with piracy. I'm done with taking risks. When we reach the nearest station, my crew and I are going to find honest work. Anything is better than going back to human space." "So you really believe the humans are that dangerous?" Kethvar looked at him with his one red eye. "Captain, I have fought Confederation battleships. I have raided military convoys. I have faced plasma cannons and nuclear missiles without flinching. But I have never been as scared as I was in human space. Whatever the humans are hiding there, it's something that no pirate, no explorer, and no government should ever disturb. What? Do you think they're hiding? I think they're hiding the answer to a question that nobody wants to ask, Kethvar said. What happens when a P? 2 weeks after dropping off Kethvar and his crew at Nexus Station, Hyunwoo could not stop thinking about the pirate's story. He tried to focus on his normal work, but the questions kept coming back to his mind. During quiet moments on the bridge, he found himself staring at star maps and wondering what was really happening in human space. Nari noticed his distraction. "You're doing it again," she said one morning as they docked at Central Hub Station. "Doing what?" "Looking like someone stole your favorite toy. You've been weird ever since we talked to that pirate." Hyunwoo sighed. "I just can't stop thinking about what he said. All those ships floating in space. All those missing crews. Don't you want to know what really happened to them?" "No," Nari said firmly. "I want to live a long, boring life." Curiosity killed the cat, and satisfaction never brought it back. While Nari went to arrange their next cargo delivery, Hyunwoo decided to do some research. Central Hub Station had the biggest public library in this part of the galaxy. If there were answers to his questions anywhere, they would be there. The library was huge, with thousands of computer terminals connected to databases from every member world of the Galactic Council. Hyunwoo spent hours searching through news reports, government documents, and historical records. What he found made his blood run cold. Every single intelligent species in the galaxy had the exact same policy regarding human space: complete avoidance. It didn't matter if they were peaceful traders or aggressive warriors. It didn't matter if they were brave explorers or careful diplomats. Every government, every military, every organization had independently decided that human territory was off-limits. The Kree Empire was famous for expanding into new systems and conquering weaker species. Their military commanders were known for taking risks and pushing boundaries. But even they refused to send scout ships into human space. The Altarian Federation had the most advanced exploration technology in the galaxy. They had mapped more star systems than any other species. But their star charts showed the same empty space that every other map showed. The Zephyrian Trade Consortium would normally do business with anyone who had something valuable to sell. They were known for taking dangerous risks if the profit was high enough. But they had never even tried to establish trade relations with humans. It was like the entire galaxy had made a secret agreement to pretend that human space didn't exist. Hyunwoo dug deeper into the records. He found references to something called the Hegemony Incident from 47 years ago, but most of the details were classified or missing. What little information he could find painted a disturbing picture. The Hegemony had been a large military alliance of aggressive species. They believed that weak civilizations should serve strong ones. When humans first joined the Galactic Council, the Hegemony decided to test their strength by demanding tribute from a human mining colony. According to the official reports, the human government politely declined to pay tribute. The Hegemony sent a fleet of warships to enforce their demands. The fleet had included over 300 ships and nearly 500,000 soldiers. Then the reports became confusing. Different sources told different stories. Some said the fleet was destroyed in battle. Others said it simply disappeared. A few claimed that the ships returned home, but the crews were acting strangely. The only thing all sources agreed on was that after the Hegemony incident, every member of the alliance suddenly lost interest in expanding into human territory. Within a year, the Hegemony itself had collapsed as member species decided to pursue more peaceful policies. Hyunwoo tried to find more details, but the deeper records were restricted to high-level government officials. He needed a different approach. In the station's main bar, he found Sung-ho, an elderly man who worked loading cargo ships at the docks. Sung-ho had gray hair and tired eyes, but other dock workers treated him with respect. During their conversation, Hyunwoo learned that Sung-ho had been a military pilot during the early days of human contact. "You want to know about the old days?" Sung-ho asked, sipping a glass of Altarian wine. "Most people don't care about history anymore." "I'm curious about first contact with the humans," Hyunwoo said. "What were they like when they first joined?" The council? Sung-ho smiled. They were wonderful, polite, friendly, eager to learn. They brought gifts for everyone, art, music, stories from their homeworld. Their technology was impressive but not threatening. They seemed genuinely excited to be part of a galactic community. So what changed? Sung-ho's smile faded. The hegemony happened. Those fools thought humans looked weak because they were peaceful. They decided to test human resolve by demanding tribute from New Terra, a mining world in the outer systems. What did the humans do? At first, they tried diplomacy. They sent ambassadors to explain that they couldn't pay tribute because it would violate their membership agreement with the Council. The hegemony laughed and said the Council was too weak to protect human interests. Then they sent the fleet? 312 ships, Sung-ho said. I remember the exact number because I was part of the Council observation force. We were supposed to monitor the situation and make sure it didn't escalate into a full-scale war. You were there? I saw the whole thing, Sung-ho said. His hands started shaking slightly. The hegemony fleet arrived at New Terra and began bombing the mining facilities. They demanded immediate surrender and payment of tribute. The human colonists asked for 24 hours to consider their options? What happened during those 24 hours? Sung-ho was quiet for a long moment. He stared into his wine glass like he was seeing something terrible reflected in the liquid. The human response fleet arrived, he said finally. 50 ships, maybe 60. Much smaller than the hegemony force. We thought it was going to be a massacre. But it wasn't? No, Sung-ho said. It was something much worse. The humans didn't attack the hegemony fleet, they just surrounded it. Then they started broadcasting some kind of signal. Not a radio transmission. Something else. Something that affected the hegemony ships directly. What kind of signal? Nobody knows. Our sensors couldn't detect it. But within 6 hours, every ship in the hegemony fleet had stopped moving. They just hung in space like they were powered down. Were they destroyed? That's the thing, Sung-ho said. They weren't destroyed. They were still intact. Life support was still working. But the crews stopped responding to communications. They stopped following orders from their commanders. What were they doing? Nothing. They just sat in their ships and waited. When Hegemony Command sent messages asking for status reports, the crews would respond with the same phrase. We are assisting our human allies with security operations. Hyunwoo felt his stomach drop. Assisting human allies? Every single crew member said the exact same thing. 300 ships. 500,000 soldiers. All of them suddenly believed they were working for the humans. How is that possible? Sung-ho shrugged. Nobody knows. The humans claimed it was a defensive technology that made hostile forces peaceful. They said it was much better than weapons, because nobody got hurt. What happened to the fleet? The humans kept it. They said the ships and crews were welcome to stay in human space as long as they wanted. Most of them are probably still there. Still there? After 47 years? As far as anyone knows, Sung-ho said. The few hegemony survivors who made it home told strange stories. They said their former crewmates seemed happy and content working for humans. They said the converted crews claimed they had found a better way to live. That's impossible. People can't just forget their old lives and start new ones. Can't they? Sung-ho asked. Think about it. The hegemony was a military alliance based on conquest and domination. Their soldiers spent their whole lives fighting wars and oppressing weaker species. What if the humans offered them something better? What if they offered them peace and purpose instead of endless conflict? You're talking about brainwashing. I'm talking about conversion, Sung-ho said. Not forcing people to change, but showing them a reason to want to change. The humans never threatened anyone. They never made demands. They just demonstrated that cooperation was more effective than competition. By stealing an entire fleet? By giving an entire fleet a choice, Sung-ho corrected. The hegemony crews could have left human space at any time. The fact that they chose to stay suggests they found something there worth staying for. Hyunwoo tried to process this information. If that's true, then every ship that enters human space gets the same offer, Sung-ho finished. Work with us instead of against us. Help us build something better instead of destroying what exists. Most people who hear the offer decide to accept it. And the people who don't accept it? Sung-ho's face became very serious. I think those are the ones who disappear completely. The humans only convert people who can be converted. The others? Well, The galaxy is a dangerous place. Accidents happen. You're saying the humans kill anyone who refuses to join them. I'm saying the humans are very practical people. They prefer conversion to killing, but they're not stupid. They know that some threats can't be negotiated with. Hyunwoo sat back in his chair. The bar around them was full of normal people having normal conversations about normal problems. Nobody else was talking about missing fleets or converted crews, or P. Hyunwoo's obsession with human space grew stronger every day. He started spending all his free time researching, reading old reports, and tracking down people who might have information. Nari complained that he was becoming boring and paranoid, but she couldn't stop him from digging deeper into the mystery. What he discovered made him question everything he thought he knew about the galaxy. In the restricted archives of the Planetary Defense Network, he found partial reports that had somehow escaped proper classification. The documents were fragmented and heavily censored, but they painted a picture that made his hands shake as he read. The humans hadn't just converted the hegemony fleet. Over the past 47 years, they had been steadily collecting every ship that entered their territory. But these weren't random disappearances. The pattern was too perfect, too organized. According to the scattered reports, reconnaissance drones sent to observe the edges of human space had detected massive structures in the outer systems. These structures were built from the hulls of alien ships, welded together and modified into something new. But they weren't static monuments or scrap yards. The structures moved with purpose, patrolled specific routes, and seemed to grow larger. With each passing year, some analysts suggested they were automated defense systems. Others whispered about something far more disturbing. Hyunwoo found a partial interview with a traumatized scout pilot named Jin Ai, who had somehow escaped from human space 3 years ago. Most of her testimony was deleted or corrupted, but a few sentences remained. The ships aren't destroyed. They're incorporated. Thousands of them working together like organs in a body. The crews looked happy, but their eyes were wrong. They said they had found their true purpose. He also discovered classified communication logs from various governments. The Kree Empire had sent secret probe ships into human territory 14 times over the past decade. All 14 ships had vanished, but not before sending back brief transmissions. The messages were confusing and contradictory. Contact with unknown vessels. They're offering to help us. This is amazing technology. Request permission to extend mission. Learning incredible things. Will report when ready. Previous transmission in error. Returning to base immediately. Do not send backup. Then, silence. The pattern was always the same. Initial confusion, then enthusiasm, then a final message claiming everything was fine, followed by total communication loss. But the most disturbing evidence came from an unlikely source: trade records. Hyunwoo spent weeks analyzing cargo manifests and shipping logs from across the galaxy. What he found made him sick. Human space was supposedly isolated from galactic trade, but certain rare materials were flowing out of human territory in small quantities. Materials that could only be produced by specific alien technologies. Technologies that had been on ships that had disappeared into human space. Krillian quantum processors, Vorthon plasma generators, Altarian navigation crystals, all being produced in human space using methods that humans had never possessed before their contact with other species. It meant the humans weren't just converting ships and crews. They were studying alien technology and integrating it into their own systems. Every ship that disappeared was making human space stronger and more advanced. Hyunwoo decided to find an expert who could help him understand what this meant. He contacted Mi Young, a quantum physicist who worked at the Advanced Research Institute on Ceres Prime. She agreed to meet him at a small cafe near the spaceport. Mi Young was a small woman with sharp eyes and nervous habits. She kept looking around the cafe like she expected someone to be listening to their conversation. "You're asking dangerous questions," she said, after Hyunwoo explained what he had discovered. "The kind of questions that make people disappear." "I just want to understand what's happening," Hyunwoo said. "Is it possible for humans to convert entire ship crews to their side?" "Possible," Mi Young laughed, but it wasn't a happy sound. "It's not just possible. It's inevitable given their apparent technological capabilities." "What do you mean?" Mi Young leaned closer and lowered her voice. "Think about what we know. Humans have advanced medical technology that can extend lifespans and heal injuries faster than any other species. They have computer systems that can process information more efficiently than our best quantum networks. They have shown the ability to disable hostile ships without causing physical damage. So what if these aren't separate technologies? What if they're all part of the same system? What if humans have developed a form of technology that can interface directly with biological and mechanical systems? Hyunwoo felt cold. You're talking about some kind of mind control device. I'm talking about something much more sophisticated than mind control, Mi-young said. Mind control implies forcing someone to act against their will. But what if you could change their will itself? What if you could show them a better way to live and make them genuinely want to choose it? That's still wrong. People should be free to make their own choices. Should they? Mi-young asked. What about people who choose to be pirates? What about soldiers who enjoy killing? What about traders who profit from slavery? Are those good choices that should be protected? Everyone deserves freedom. Even freedom to hurt others. Even freedom to destroy and steal and kill. Mi-young shook her head. Maybe the humans have found a way to give people better choices. Maybe they've figured out how to make cooperation more attractive than competition. By brainwashing them. By educating them, Mi-young corrected. Think about it from a practical standpoint. Every ship that enters human space is crewed by people with useful skills. Pilots, engineers, soldiers, traders. Instead of killing these people or imprisoning them, the humans offer them jobs. Good jobs with better working conditions and more interesting challenges. You're defending them. I'm trying to understand them, Mi-young said, and what I understand scares me more than simple conquest would. Why? Mi-young was quiet for a moment, staring into her coffee cup. Because conquest is inefficient. When you conquer people, they hate you and look for opportunities to rebel. You have to spend resources guarding them and suppressing resistance. But conversion is different. Converted people don't want to rebel. They want to help. They become part of your strength instead of a drain on it. So you think that's what's happening? Humans are converting everyone who enters their space? I think humans have developed a form of civilization that's so attractive, so fulfilling, that most people who experience it don't want to leave. And for the few people who do want to leave, Mi-young shrugged. Well, those people probably represent genuine threats that can't be negotiated with. You're saying the humans kill anyone who refuses to join them. I'm saying the humans are practical. They prefer integration to elimination, but they're not naive about the nature of threats. Hyunwoo tried to process this information. If that's true, then human space isn't just a territory. It's a trap. A beautiful, attractive trap that turns enemies into servants. Maybe, Mi-young said. Or maybe it's evolution in action. Maybe humans have found a way to accelerate social development by converting violent cultures into peaceful ones, by stealing people from their families and friends, by offering people better families and friends, Mi-young countered. Look at the evidence objectively. How many of the ships that enter human space are carrying happy, well-adjusted crews? Most of them are pirates, raiders, or military scouts. These are people who have chosen lives of violence and isolation. What if the humans are offering them lives of cooperation and community? What about innocent explorers? What about scientists and diplomats? What about them? If they're truly innocent, why haven't any of them returned to tell their stories? Either the humans are killing everyone who enters their space, or everyone who enters their space decides to stay. Or the humans are forcing them to stay. Force implies resistance, Mi-young said. But all the evidence suggests that converted crews are genuinely happy with their new situation. They send messages saying they found better lives. They claim to be working on important projects. They express gratitude for the opportunities they've been given. Hyunwoo felt like his head was spinning. So you're saying the humans might actually be helping people? I'm saying the humans might have solved one of the oldest problems in galactic civilization. How to deal with violent, aggressive cultures without becoming violent and aggressive yourself. By converting them. By offering them something better than violence and aggression. By showing them that cooperation produces better results than competition. By giving them meaningful work and supportive communities. And if they refuse? Mi-young's expression became very serious. Then they probably weren't the kind of people who could be helped anyway. Some individuals are too damaged by violence to be saved. Some cultures are too committed to destruction to be converted. For those cases, elimination might be the only option. That's horrible. Is it more horrible than allowing them to continue hurting others? Is it more horrible than letting pirate fleets raid innocent colonies? Is it more horrible than permitting military forces to conquer peaceful worlds? Hyun-woo didn't have an answer for that. He sat in the cafe, surrounded by normal people living normal lives, trying to understand. The obsession had consumed him completely. For 3 months, Hyun-woo had been gathering information, analyzing patterns, and building theories about what was really happening in human space. Nari had tried to talk him out of his fixation, but nothing worked. The mystery had become more important to him than his job, his safety, or his sanity. Finally, he made a decision that would change everything. "I'm going to see for myself," he announced one morning as they prepared to leave Nexus Station. Nari was checking cargo manifests when he said it. She looked up from her tablet with a confused expression. "See what for yourself?" "Human space. I'm going to fly to the border and observe their defenses." Nari stared at him for a long moment. Then she put down her tablet and walked over to where he was standing. Without warning, she slapped him across the face. "Ow!" Hyun-woo said, touching his cheek. "What was that for?" "For being an idiot," Nari said. "For letting curiosity override common sense. For deciding to throw your life away chasing ghost stories." "I'm not throwing my life away. I'm just going to look. Our ship has the best stealth systems in the merchant fleet. I can get close enough to see what's really there without being detected." "And then what? Even if you see something interesting, what are you going to do with that information? Who are you going to tell? Who's going to believe you?" Hyun-woo had been thinking about this for weeks. "I'm going to record everything. Visual logs, sensor data, communication intercepts. I'm going to gather proof that can't be ignored or dismissed." "Proof of what?" "Proof of whatever the humans are hiding. Proof that might help the galaxy understand what we're really dealing with." Nari sat down heavily in the pilot's chair. "Hyun-woo, listen to me. You're not thinking clearly. You've been obsessing over this mystery for months. It's affecting your judgment. My judgment is fine, is it? When was the last time you slept a full night? When was the last time you ate a complete meal? When was the last time you thought about anything other than human space?" Hyun-woo tried to remember but couldn't. The truth was that the mystery had taken over his entire life. He dreamed about missing ships and converted crews. He saw patterns in every piece of data. He had notebooks full of theories and calculations and wild speculations. "I have to know," he said quietly. "I can't live with the uncertainty anymore." "Then you're going to live with certainty for a very short time," Nari said. "Because if you fly into human space, you're never coming back." "You don't know that. I know enough. I know that thousands of ships have made the same decision you're making right now. I know that none of them ever returned to tell their stories." Hyun-woo was quiet for a moment. Then he made a decision that surprised even himself. "Come with me." "What?" "Come with me to human space. You're the best pilot I know. If anyone can get us in and out safely, it's you." Nari laughed, but it was a bitter sound. "Now I know you've lost your mind completely. I'm serious. 2 pilots are better than 1. 2 sets of eyes are better than 1. If something goes wrong, you can get us out of trouble." "If something goes wrong, we'll both end up as additions to the human defense fleet. Maybe. Or maybe we'll finally learn the truth about what's happening out there." Nari stood up and walked to the bridge windows. Outside, the busy traffic of Nexus Station continued as normal. Cargo ships, passenger vessels, and patrol craft moved through the shipping lanes like everything was fine. Like the galaxy wasn't, harboring a secret that had swallowed thousands of ships and crews. "Why is this so important to you?" she asked without turning around. "Because I'm a pilot," Hyun-woo said. "My job is to fly ships through space safely. How can I do that job if there are areas of space that I don't understand? How can I protect my crew and cargo if I don't know what threats exist?" "The threat is simple. Stay out of human space and you'll be fine." "For how long? What if the humans decide to expand their territory? What if their conversion process becomes more aggressive? What if they start converting ships that never intended to enter their space?" Nari turned around to look at him. "You think they're planning to expand?" "I think they're planning something. All that converted technology, all those integrated crews, all those structures built from alien ships. You don't build a defense network that large just to protect a few mining worlds. You build it because you're preparing for something bigger. Or you build it because you're really committed to staying isolated. Maybe. But I need to know which explanation is correct. The galaxy needs to know. Nari was quiet for a long time. Hyunwoo could see her thinking, weighing options, considering possibilities. Finally, she sighed. If I agree to this insane plan, what exactly are you suggesting we do? Fly to the edge of human space using full stealth protocols, observe their defense systems from a safe distance, record everything we see, then return with evidence that can help the galaxy understand what we're dealing with. And if we get detected, then we run. Our ship is faster than most military vessels. We should be able to escape before they can intercept us. Should be able to, Nari repeated. That's not very reassuring. Nothing about this is reassuring, but it's necessary. Nari walked back to the pilot's chair and sat down. She stared at the navigation console for several minutes, lost in thought. When she finally spoke, her voice was resigned. Okay, I'll help you with this stupid, dangerous, probably fatal mission. But we do it my way. We use every stealth system on the ship. We stay at maximum sensor range, and at the first sign of trouble, we run like hell. Agreed. And when we get back, you're going to promise me that you'll drop this obsession and go back to being a normal cargo pilot. I promise. Nari smiled sadly. You're lying, but I appreciate the effort. 2 days later, they were flying toward the edge of human space in full stealth mode. All non-essential systems were powered down. The ship was running on minimal life support. They were barely a blip on anyone's sensors. As they approached the border, Hyunwoo felt his heart beating faster. After months of research and speculation, he was finally going to see the truth with his own eyes. What he saw defied every expectation he had formed. The edge of human space wasn't marked by a simple defensive line or a patrol fleet. Instead, it was marked by something that looked like a vast mechanical constellation. Thousands of structures floated in perfect formation, each one different but somehow part of a greater whole. There were ships, yes, but they had been modified beyond easy recognition. Hull plates from different species had been combined into new configurations. Weapon systems from various military traditions had been integrated into hybrid designs. Engine configurations had been rebuilt using technology from dozens of different worlds. Are those the missing ships? Nari whispered. Some of them, Hyunwoo said, studying the sensor readings. But they've been changed. Look at the hull configurations. That's a Krillian cruiser merged with Vorthon Raider technology. And that structure over there combines Altarian navigation systems with human engineering. It's like they're building something new from the pieces of everything that came before. Not building, Hyunwoo realized. Growing. Look at the patterns, the way the structures are connected. It's organic, like a living system that adds new parts as they become available. As they watched, one of the hybrid structures began to move. It turned toward their position with smooth, purposeful motion. It sees us, Nari said. That's impossible. We're in full stealth mode. Tell that to the 10 other structures that are also turning our way. Hyunwoo checked the sensors. Nari was right. More and more of the hybrid vessels were orienting toward their position. Not aggressively, but with obvious awareness. We need to leave, Nari said. Right now. But before Hyunwoo could respond, their communication system activated. A voice spoke in calm, polite tones. Unknown vessel, you are approaching restricted space. This is your only warning. Retreat immediately, or be integrated into our defensive network. The voice was human, but there was something strange about it. It sounded too perfect, too controlled, like it was being generated by a computer, rather than spoken by a person. Integrated? Hyunwoo transmitted back, his curiosity overcoming his fear. Humanity learned long ago that in a hostile galaxy, the best defense is adaptation. Every ship that threatens us becomes part of our protection. Every crew member's expertise enhances our capabilities. Every attack makes us stronger. The voice paused, and when it continued, there was something almost friendly about its tone. Your vessel would make an excellent addition to our sensor grid. Your pilot skills would enhance our navigation protocols. Your knowledge of galactic shipping routes would improve our intelligence capabilities. You would find the work challenging and fulfilling. Around them, the vast defensive network began to move with fluid precision. Hundreds of hybrid ships maneuvered into new positions, creating a complex pattern that gradually surrounded their position. Choose quickly, the voice continued. Integration is much more pleasant when it's voluntary. Nari was already firing up the main engines. That's our cue to leave. But as their ship turned to flee, Hyunwoo found himself staring at the incredible mechanical constellation with a mixture of terror and fascination. The humans hadn't just built a defense system. They had created something that grew stronger. With every challenge, learned from every encounter, and evolved with the journey back to Nexus Station felt like a dream. Hyunwoo sat in the co-pilot's chair, staring at the recorded sensor data from their encounter with the human defense network. The images showed structures that seemed impossible. Ships merged with other ships, technology from dozens of species working together in perfect harmony, and patterns of movement that suggested intelligence on a scale he had never imagined. Nari flew in silence for most of the trip. When she finally spoke, her voice was quiet and thoughtful. "They let us go," she said. "Yes. They could have captured us easily. We saw how fast those ships moved. We saw how many of them there were. But they chose to let us escape." "Yes. Why?" Hyunwoo had been thinking about the same question. "Because they wanted us to see. They wanted us to go back and tell others what we found." "But why would they want that?" "Because fear is more effective than force. If every pilot in the galaxy knows what waits in human space, they'll stay away voluntarily. The humans don't need to patrol the entire border. They just need to maintain the legend. And now we're part of that legend." "Yes. Now we're the ones who will tell other pilots to stay away. We're the ones who will spread the fear and maintain the isolation." When they reached Nexus Station, Hyunwoo spent 3 days writing his report. He documented everything they had seen, everything they had learned, and everything he had discovered during his months of research. The final document was 47 pages long and included detailed technical specifications of the hybrid vessels they had observed. Then he submitted it to the Pilots Guild with a simple cover note. "Human space is marked as prohibited, not because they are our enemies, but because challenging them means joining them. Every pilot who has ever entered their territory now serves in their defense. Every ship that has tested their resolve has become part of their fleet. The galactic map ends at human space because that's where the map makers decided the galaxy should end. And after seeing what waits beyond that line, I understand their wisdom. Stay away, not because you'll die, but because you'll live forever in service to something that no longer remembers what it means to lose." Within a week, copies of his report were circulating through pilot lounges and shipping offices across the galaxy. The response was immediate and dramatic. The Krillian Trade Federation issued new regulations requiring all ships to maintain a minimum distance of 5 light-years from human space. The Altarian Exploration Service canceled 3 deep space missions that would have taken their ships near the human border. Even pirate organizations began avoiding routes that passed close to human territory. But not everyone was satisfied with Hyunwoo's recommendations. A week after his report was published, he received a visit from Commander Taeho of the Galactic Defense Force. The commander was a tall man with gray hair and serious eyes. He wore the blue uniform of the Military Intelligence Division. "Captain Hyunwoo," the commander said, sitting down across from him in the station's main cafe. "I've read your report with great interest." "Thank you, sir. However, I have some concerns about your conclusions." "What kind of concerns?" Commander Taeho leaned forward and lowered his voice. "Your report suggests that human space contains a self-expanding defense network that grows stronger with every challenge. If that's true, then we're not dealing with a static threat. We're dealing with something that's actively becoming more dangerous over time." "That's correct. And your recommendation is that we should simply avoid human space and hope they remain content with their current territory?" "Yes, sir. Challenging them only makes them stronger. The best strategy is to leave them alone." "But what if they don't want to be left alone?" the commander asked. "What if their long-term plan involves expanding beyond their current borders?" Hyunwoo had been dreading this question. "I don't have evidence that they're planning to expand, but You also don't have evidence that they're not planning to expand. And given the rate at which their defense network has been growing, we need to consider all possibilities. What are you suggesting? I'm suggesting that the Galactic Defense Force needs more information before we can make informed policy decisions. Your report provides valuable intelligence, but it also raises new questions that need to be answered. You want to send more ships into human space. I want to send one ship, a single scout vessel with the best stealth technology available and the most experienced crew in the fleet. Their mission would be to penetrate deeper into human territory and gather detailed intelligence about their capabilities and intentions. Hyunwoo felt cold. That's suicide. Maybe. Or maybe it's necessary. Captain, you've seen what the humans are capable of at their border. But what are they doing in the interior of their territory? What are they building with all that captured? Technology? What are they planning with all those converted crews? I don't know, and I don't want to know. But the galaxy needs to know. If the humans are preparing for some kind of expansion or invasion, we need advance warning. We need time to prepare defenses or diplomatic initiatives. Or you need time to prepare an attack. Commander Taeho's expression didn't change. The Galactic Defense Force's primary mission is to protect member worlds from external threats. If human expansion becomes likely, we need to be ready to respond appropriately. Appropriately how? You just said that challenging them makes them stronger. There are other options besides direct military confrontation. Economic pressure, diplomatic isolation, alliance building among their neighbors. But all of these strategies require detailed intelligence about human capabilities and intentions. Hyunwoo shook his head. I won't help you plan an attack on human space. I'm not asking you to plan an attack. I'm asking you to help prevent a war. If we understand what the humans really want, maybe we can give it to them without bloodshed. And if we can't, then we need to be prepared for the alternative. The commander stood up and placed a data pad on the table. This contains the technical specifications for our new prototype scout vessel. It has stealth capabilities that are years ahead of anything currently in service. The mission would be volunteer only, with full hazard pay and life insurance for the crew's families. You're asking me to volunteer. I'm asking you to consider it. You're the only person in the galaxy who has seen human defenses up close and returned to tell about it. You understand their technology better than anyone else. You would be the logical choice to lead such a mission. Hyunwoo stared at the data pad without touching it. And if I refuse? Then we'll find someone else. But they won't have your experience or your insights. Their chances of success would be much lower. Their chances of success are already zero. Maybe. But the stakes are too high to assume that. Captain, we're talking about the future of galactic civilization. If the humans are planning something that could threaten billions of lives, don't we have a responsibility to investigate? After the commander left, Hyunwoo sat alone in the cafe, staring at the data pad. Around him, normal people were having normal conversations about normal problems. They didn't know that somewhere in the galaxy, a defense network was growing, larger and more sophisticated every day. They didn't know that their governments were considering desperate measures to gather intelligence about an unknowable threat. That night, he called Nari to his quarters and showed her the data pad. They want us to go back, he said. Nari read the mission specifications in silence. When she finished, she set the pad down and looked at him with tired eyes. Are you going to do it? I don't know. Part of me thinks the commander is right. Maybe we do need to understand what the humans are really planning. And the other part of you? The other part of me thinks we already understand enough. The humans have built a perfect defense system that turns every attack into an opportunity for growth. They've created a form of civilization that's so attractive that most people who experience it don't want to leave. And maybe that's not a threat. Maybe that's evolution. Maybe the humans have found a way to accelerate social development by converting violent cultures into peaceful ones, by stealing people from their families and friends, by offering people better families and friends, by showing them that cooperation produces better results than competition, by giving them meaningful work and supportive communities. Nari was quiet for a moment. You're starting to sound like you admire them. Maybe I do. They've solved one of the oldest problems in galactic civilization. How to deal with violent, aggressive cultures without becoming violent and aggressive yourself. By converting them. By giving them a choice. Work with us or work against us. Most people who see both options choose cooperation. And the people who choose to work against them? Hyunwoo didn't answer immediately. When he finally spoke, his voice was thoughtful. Maybe those are the people who needed to be removed from the galaxy anyway. Maybe the humans are performing a service by taking the most dangerous individuals out of circulation. You're talking about them like they're doing the galaxy a favor. Maybe they are. Every pirate crew that gets converted is a pirate crew that stops raiding colonies. Every military unit that joins human society is a military unit that stops threatening peaceful worlds. And every scout ship that disappears is a scout ship that can't report back to its government. Yes, the humans maintain